Welcome to Kinda Keto with Donna. On today's video, we're talking pumpkin. I've got 3 pumpkin recipes that are not desserts. Stay tuned. You don't have to be keto or low carb to enjoy them. I've got a pumpkin sausage pasta sauce. I've got pumpkin chia pudding. And I have a pumpkin chili. All wonderful ideas that don't have to be sweet desserts. And they feature our lovely fall pumpkin. So follow along with me. Okay, this recipe I got years ago from Rachael Ray on Food Network. And when I looked at the ingredients when I was flipping over to keto, all the ingredients were low carb except for the pasta. And we're going to just do a different pasta. So I think it's a great sauce, and it's definitely an autumn sauce. So the ingredients you're going to need for this, most of which I'm sure you'll have on hand, except for maybe the pumpkin this time of year, but a little olive oil, pretty much just for the pan. I just get whatever cooking wine, a couple $, whatever. I don't drink wine, so just whatever cooking wine you can find in your store. Some chicken broth. This is some chicken broth that I made that I will make a video about soon if you like. Some chopped onion, some chopped garlic, love that. Some sausage. It says for sweet Italian sausage. I usually do mild Italian sausage, but actually this recipe calls for sage, which I don't have on hand at the moment, but my husband I think is getting some, so I can make this later today. But you can also get sage sausage. So then you won't have to worry about buying this little thing of sage that you're not going to use. It is a pumpkin sauce, so you do need your pure pumpkin, some heavy whipping cream, which we always have on hand, right, us keto people, and the spices, preferably some sage if you have it, but otherwise some bay leaf, cinnamon, a little nutmeg. It says coarse black pepper, so whatever kind of black pepper, but I did have this little grinder, so I'll use that. This is my little salt container. So really, looks like a lot, but it's really not that much, and it comes together real easily, which I will show you. Follow along. All right, if you can brown meat, you can make this sauce. And 1 tablespoon of olive oil. See, and I used up some leftover sausage that I had. Usually if I buy one, I don't have sausage all that often, so I will have it and put half of it away. All right, and browning meat, just chopping it up while it's cooking and just keep turning it. You don't have to be a big cook for this. You can do this. All right, once it's all browned and you don't see any red anymore, I'm going to transfer it to a paper towel lined dish. All right, to the same hot pan, I'm going to add a little olive oil, another tablespoon, and start sauteing some onions and garlic for 3 to 5 minutes. I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes, but I wait a minute or so before I put the garlic in. I'm always nervous about the garlic burning, but I'm going to keep this moving a little bit, and basically 3 to 5 minutes just gets this a little softened, a little translucent, and then you're ready for our next step. Okay, this is 1 medium onion chopped up to 4 or 6 if you're Italian. Cloves of garlic all minced up. And then just enjoy the aroma. Can you smell it? Well, that's sauteing. Remember, don't walk away and go to the bathroom. Smells so good. Just make sure it's not burning. I'm getting ready. I have a cup of the chicken broth. I just realized everything's a cup. A cup of our wine. A cup of the pumpkin. So we're about getting ready to put that in. All right, once your onions and garlic are done, we're ready to move on. We're going to add our wine. This is 1 cup. I said I just used some cheapo wine, so you don't have to do anything fancy on that. and we're going to do the sage. My husband got back with the sage. Yay! The only thing is, it's really hard to fit it's 1 tablespoon. It's hard to fit in there. So I'm going to use my little teaspoon. 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon, in case you didn't know. So I'm going to do 3 teaspoons. 1, 2. Now, she has real sage, rolled up and sliced a certain way. And yeah, I ain't doing that. Not many people have sage in their house. Hey, so sage isn't that expensive. He found this I only asked for just a little small thing, but he found this like $2. So we got the sage. And it's just 1 bay leaf. And then we're just going to wait like about 2 minutes. It says till the wine reduces. And if you're new to cooking, reducing just means we're just going to kind of get a lot of the liquid out of it and kind of get the flavor into the onions and all that stuff. So we're just going to wait about 2 minutes for that. Okay, 2 minutes has gone by. So we just have a little less liquid. Still have some liquid in there, but it's really soaked up in the onions. So now we're just going to add the 1 cup of chicken stock and the pumpkin. Never thought you'd have sauce with pumpkin in it, did you? It's just something different, your traditional marinara or Alfredo. I like having different flavors of pasta stuff. So now we tweak out the pasta, but we enjoy the sauce, right? And then you're just going to mix that together so the pumpkin gets all incorporated. All right, once it's combined, stirred together, it's bubbling now. And once it's nice and bubbling, it just smells so interesting. We're going to put our sausage back in that we had on our separate plate. Don't want to waste any of that good sausage. Put it all in. There we go. All right, once we added the sausage back into the sauce, we're going to add our heavy cream. And this only one is not a whole cup like the others. This one is a half a cup. Just going to thicken it up nicely. Sort of swirl it around. All right. It's going to make this so creamy and good. All right, and then from there, we're going to add our spices. Hey, just half a teaspoon of the nutmeg. Again, it's not an expensive spice to buy. And trust me, when I show you my video on making eggnog, keto version, you're going to want to keep nutmeg on hand. So that's just a half a teaspoon. And just with the pumpkin, it really goes well together. It's not that much of an investment. I know that's something you probably wouldn't have in your cupboard maybe right now. And then some cinnamon, just about 1/8 of a teaspoon. It's just going to bring all these flavors together. And who doesn't love the smell of cinnamon? Okay, and lastly, your salt and pepper, as they say, to taste. So I got my, what did I do with it? I put it away too soon while I was waiting for something to saute. So I got my little grinder I found at Aldi. And I do a lot of measuring, so I'm kind of guessing here. But that's why they say you taste it and see whether you need more or something. I'm always afraid about putting too much, so I always start with what the recipe says. All right, so there's my salt. Just makes four servings. Okay, it is already looking very good. So that's sausage, cream, great consistency. It's orange. All right, we're gonna let that simmer 5 to 10 minutes to thicken up just a bit more. And that is done. And that took, I don't know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes tops. Now we're just gonna put it over the pasta alternative of our choice. There are a couple of pasta alternatives for those of us on keto or low carb. I particularly like the palmini noodles. It's quick and easy. You can put any sauce on it. We do it with Alfredo all the time, like chicken, broccoli, Alfredo. We do it with some Rouse marinara, which is no sugar. I did find this new one in Walmart there, absolutely gluten-free, which, a little bit less expensive, so I thought I'd pick that up. And sometimes I can find this Natural Heaven over at TJ Maxx or one of those kind of Marshalls or just some odd store where they have that little aisle of food things. Been harder to find, but they do have it on Amazon as well. So I like all of those versions. I have tried shirataki noodles and have mixed reviews. The first one I tried with a beautiful homemade mac and cheese, it was god awful. Never mind just, I won't make it again. No, we had to throw it away. It was awful. Then we tried it again, a different version, different, I guess, brand, and it was actually quite good. And this angel hair, so maybe some shrimp scampi. It's really good with that because it's very light. However, today I'm going to try a new recipe to make my own noodles, just out of curiosity and see how it comes out. Okay, dinner is served. I've got some keto egg noodles that actually came out with my pumpkin sausage pasta sauce. Yummy! Here are the ingredients you're going to need to make pumpkin pie flavored chia pudding. And we're going to start off with some almond milk. We're going to do a little granular swerve, not very much. Vanilla. I just use the pumpkin pie spice. The pure pumpkin, again, not the pumpkin pie filling, but pure pumpkin. And your chia seeds. A whisk. Snoopy and Woodstock are optional. Okay, I got this recipe. Last year I did 3 recipes, but this year I'm going to go with the low carb yum version. And in the bowl I'm going to whisk together 1.5 cups of the unsweetened almond milk, because that's usually what I have on hand, or you can do the coconut milk. And then you can do 3/4 cup of pumpkin puree. If you have liquid stevia, she says 12 drops, but I don't usually have that on hand. Or you can use 3 teaspoons of the granular swerve. And I only use 1.5 teaspoons. 1.5 tablespoons. So, scale back the sweetness if you can here and there. Kind of maybe get away from some of our sweets or sweet tooth that we like so much. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And she does the spices a little bit, she doesn't separate all different spices, but I just did 1 teaspoon of the pumpkin pie spice. You're going to whisk that all together first, and then we're going to add our chia seeds. For the occasion look, I got, how close to like a deep pumpkin is that? I haven't had a manicure in probably a year and a half. And I just was feeling fall so much this year that I just thought it would go well. And maybe you'd enjoy it too, my little manicured nails. Alrighty. And this recipe calls for only 1/4 cup of the chia seeds. A lot of the chia seed recipes that I use are 1/2 cup for 4 servings. This is 4 servings. So we're going to go with the recipe. You can add it to smoothies as well. But I love making the chia pudding. I put it on my avocado toast with some poached eggs. And I have a recipe. I have a video for that. I can link for you. Yeah, see, once everything else is already incorporated, the chia seeds come together a lot easier than when you try and clump everything together right at the beginning. All right, now you just gotta let it set up. So you don't want to make it the morning. You want to have it for breakfast, or if you're using it for a dessert, I use it for breakfast. So you're gonna I let it sit for about 15 minutes, mix it up again, and then put it in the refrigerator, cover it, and put it in the refrigerator overnight. Some consider chia pudding a dessert or breakfast. I consider it a breakfast, so that's keeping in with my non-dessert theme. But here's the chia pudding, pumpkin chia pudding, and you can top it with some pecan halves, chopped up. I sort of layered it a little bit in this glass. And some grainless granola or keto-friendly granola. And then you've got yourself a little pumpkin spice chia pudding for breakfast. Hey, here's a bonus pumpkin recipe. If you've got some leftover pumpkin, a lot of things, only call for a cup or half a cup or whatever, and then you have some leftover. So obviously you can do some smoothies with that, which that's really good. What I did first time this year was some pumpkin cream cheese for my low-carb bagels, which, what the hell, I'll leave a link for that. And all I didn't want to make a ton of it because I don't have bagels all that often, but I just did 4 ounces of cream cheese. I did a 1/4 cup of your pumpkin. I did just a tablespoon of the monk fruit, the golden. You could probably, maybe you could even skip it. I just thought I'd try it with the sweetener. 1 to 2 tablespoons, but I just did the 1 tablespoon. And a little vanilla, and a 1/4 teaspoon of the pumpkin pie spice. It wasn't that much to really whip up, so there might be a little chunk of cream cheese in there. But boy, I had it on a bagel yesterday, and it was good. So there's a bonus for you. Another use for pumpkin in this lovely fall season that is not a dessert is pumpkin chili, which actually I have never done before. So I found this pretty simple recipe that I'm going to try out. So the star of the show is our ground beef. I do try to get the grass-fed or at least organic. This one's 85% lean. So besides having pumpkin on hand, the only canned stuff you need is some diced tomatoes. This recipe I think had fire roasted. This is what I had on hand. It's just, your basic diced tomatoes. This one has a little habanero to give it a little kick. And some beef broth or beef stock or beef bone broth. Any of that will work. You normally have some garlic and onions on hand. A well-appointed kitchen does. And just a few spices. Salt, pepper, chili powder, and cumin. A little olive oil to do some sauteing. And I think that's all you need. So we're going to... Okay, I didn't have shallots, I had onions. So I sauteed some onions and garlic for 2 to 3 minutes. There's my 3 minutes. And now I'm just browning the ground beef. And then we're going to add some spices and all our other stuff. Just making a half a batch, see if I like it. So it's simmering now. It's already done, so it came together really quick. Once the spices were in and the beef was all cooked, I added a whole can of the pumpkin puree, a half a cup of the beef broth, and it was supposed to be just a half a cup of the diced tomatoes, but I just threw in the whole can. It didn't look like it was too much tomatoes. And once it's heated through, you just let it simmer for another 10-15 minutes, and you've got yourself some pumpkin chili. All right, first time trying pumpkin chili. A little taste test made me realize the diced tomatoes I used with jalapenos was actually with habaneros, and that was a little on the spicy side. So I'm adding a little sour cream and, of course, my cheese. So I'm going to have my chili with, I made a homemade low-carb biscuit that I've been dying to try. And, of course, our lovely butter, grass-fed if possible. And I've got my little electrolyte drink. So I'm going to mix this all up and kind of see. Here's an official taste test. With a little sour cream, just cut down a little bit on the spiciness. I've never had pumpkin chili. And this is really good. And it's ready in about 15 minutes. Browning the beef, adding the spices, adding the liquids, let it sit for 10 minutes. That was fast. I saw some recipes that had slow cooker for whatever. I think this tastes just as fine, just like this. Okay, and the macros I got on this recipe, the way I made it, I did half of a recipe, which is 4 servings, but that would have been half a can of the diced tomatoes, and I just threw the whole can in because I didn't know what else I was going to use it for. And pumpkin, of course, does have carbs, so it's a little higher. This might be more of a low-carb meal than a keto meal. But 1 serving was 343 calories, or is, 21 grams of protein, 23 grams of fat, 13 grams of total carbs, and then minus the fiber gives us 9 grams of net carbs for a bowl, which, isn't awful, depending on what you have the rest of the day. But there you have it. 3.5 recipes that use pumpkin that are not desserts, depending if you consider chia pudding a dessert. We had our pumpkin sausage pasta sauce. We had our pumpkin chia pudding, pumpkin cream cheese, and lastly, my wonderful pumpkin chili. So actually, this video is good for anybody who's not even low carb or keto. All those items can be on a regular diet. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and consider subscribing. Until next time, bye!